All right, well, it's Wednesday, and that could only mean one thing. That's right, Pocket Change Market Report time, February 15, 2023. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound, here to bring you the latest and greatest market activity on some of your finds. Now, what does your finds mean? It's real simple. Any sort of error or variety or maybe a key date that you come across and you picked it up for, well, either face value or next to nothing, these will certainly qualify as coins that would show up on eBay. People have made a pretty good living flipping these coins that they found on the platform and have done really well. Now, I'm talking about this week. I mean, not even this week. The last 24 hours have been unprecedented. You're going to have to check out some of these wild sales that people were able to wrangle in. Yeah, the market's down, right? No, it's not. I never said that. All right. The market is robust right now. We're well beyond the holidays. People are back out in the show circuit. People are looking forward to the 2023 coins. And all the while, they're doing their thing. And they're going through, the coins from the last 2 years. Specifically, some of those crazy errors that we've kind of witnessed come on the scene here. They've made they've made their presence known today on the PCMR, and they're still selling for a wild bunch of money. So definitely something to be on the lookout for. People are doing really well. The market is really good, and folks are taking advantage of it. So if you're looking to make some extra money, it's real simple. Go to your bank, make it happen. All right, that's going to be your lottery ticket. If you don't pick up a lottery ticket, you'll never win. So good stuff, and some vintage stuff too. A lot of cherry picks from the coin shows and shops that people have really taken advantage of. There are a number of coin dealers that just don't care about these errors and varieties. They just want to sell their PMs or sell their key dates or their graded coins and then just move on with their day. So this is where you would come in and really take advantage of this while you can. A few other things to point out. We don't talk about graded coins, not in this report. These are simply coins that speak for themselves and will sell ungraded. It's going to save you a whole bunch of money because error and variety attribution, folks, is not cheap through any of the big grading companies. And then second of all, the photos that you're seeing here before you are all original to each seller's listings. We didn't doctor them. We didn't juice them. We might have cropped them and put them together so that way you could see a front and back image if that's applicable, which 99% of the time it is. We haven't come across too many listings where there's just one side of the coin displayed on there, which is good. That means the word's getting around that you need to do both sides of the coin. All right, let's go ahead and jump in and see what we got here. I'm kind of excited, to be honest with you. And we're going to start it out with this. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is probably kind of like the, what's a good word to describe it? Lamest? The lamest listing out of the 25, 28 listings that we're talking about today. It's real simple. We have a lot of 4 mint canceled coins. This is what they refer to as waffled. All right, that's the term of a cancellation of any coin. That they'll put these into a machine and damage them forever, so that way they're unusable for normal spend. But these are collected just as a novelty, if anything else. No one in their right mind generally should grade these things. It doesn't matter what it is or what coin it comes from, but yeah, we have a few different denominations here, a few quarters. It looks like a dime and possibly a newer gold dollar in there as well. So for this 4 coin cancellation lot, it did sell for $60.50. Some of your smaller denominations like Roosevelt dimes and Lincoln cents can be had if you're looking for one of these just to add to your collection, about $8 to $10. You shouldn't have to pay any more than that. We do have another lot here. This one's actually more interesting than the previous one. However, There's really not a whole lot to go off of here other than the fact that all four coins are Lincoln cents of some sort. There is one coin with a partial readable date, 1970s. That's that coin there on the top right. So we have one blank Type 2 planchet, which has the upset rims on there, so it's ready for a strike of any kind, Lincoln cent more than likely. And then three other off-center struck coins. And the three off-center strikes appear to be pre-1982 coppers. I don't see any sort of zinc or any of that exposed on any of the three coins. So we'll just assume that that is indeed what it is. So for this 4-coin lot, we did have a sale of $40. I tell folks to keep an eye out for bulk lots because they could represent a pretty good opportunity for you to swoop in, pick it up, and then resell them individually. Kind of like the low and slow method of making money online. And, you should never overlook these, but always do your homework. Make sure you're not overpaying for a lot. There are people that have, and hopefully they're adding the coins to their collection, which, again, it's still a thing. You could find a lot of these, add some stuff to your collection, and then sell the rest. Yeah, pretty neat little lot right here, $40. I think we're about maxed out on the potential of this one. All right, so one of the coolest coins. I love this thing. I've owned a few of them. I still have one, although I'm probably due for an upgrade. But it's an 1864 L on ribbon Indian head cent. But most importantly, this is a repunch date. A really cool one. They call this one the 1864 over 1864. The coin is in phenomenal shape. If I had to guess, it's probably like an AU 55, maybe a 58. I wouldn't be upset if it was a 58. Very beautiful looking coin, but you can see the repunching of all the numbers here. And really cool. The 1864 L on ribbons. A lot of them do have misplaced dates, overdates, things of that nature. So it's a 1 year type interesting coin that has a lot to look for. So if you are searching through these, or maybe if you have one in your collection already, get a magnifier and just see if there's like a repunch date like this one here. This coin nonetheless did sell for $352 with 30 total stacked bids on there. Always good to see a relatively known error on a earlier dated coin. How about this 1936 Lincoln wheat cent? Man, this thing's awesome. It's probably pretty close to being an uncentered broad strike, but you could probably make the argument that it's an off-center struck coin as well. Off center by about 10%. Good looking piece. What's wild is normally you see coins like this and they have like carbon spotting and things like that. This one will end up in a really nice collection, I'm sure. Beautiful. It's even got the original mint steely gray color to it. So this coin probably is a low grade mint state coin that has oxidized to its brown, like you see. This one right here sold for $138.75. Someone did put an offer in on this one. So a really nice sale. Good looking coin. This is going to end up in a really nice collection. The next one that we have here is an off-center struck Washington quarter with no readable date, but that's okay. It's a coin that's in pretty nice shape. The only distracting feature of the coin is the fact that there's a pretty long scratch on the reverse, as you can see. Actually, a few scratches. There's one there under the word quarter as well. Now, the big thing about these coins is that they are going to be more quickly pursued because of a full readable date. And this one does not have a readable date. It's got a little damage on there. It's a pretty easy reason to see this one sell on the marketplace. This one ended up as a $47.63 sale with 21 bids, it looks like. And from the same seller, they also did have a really nice centered broad struck 1988p Jefferson nickel. This is a good looking coin here. So it's a piece that's probably as large as a standard U.S. quarter. How these are struck is that the collar that holds the coin in place during the striking segment of that process was not around. It wasn't engaged. There was a malfunction, something to that effect. So the metal flow will go outwards. They'll make the coin a lot bigger than it should be. So this one right here sold for $46.63 with 21 bids. A nice pair of sales from the same seller. And this one might be from the same seller as well, but we have a 1984 Lincoln Memorial. This one is double struck. Pretty close to having a second full readable date on the off-center struck portion of this coin, but copper-coated zinc is what we have here, and it's a good-looking piece that will have a lot of eyeballs on it if it's ever sold, and sure enough, it did. This particular example sold for $92.64 with 12 bids. Whatever your personal feelings are for this particular composition of coin, you have to keep in mind that the exposed zinc, after a while, will begin to rot. All right, it's only a matter of when, not if, that occurs. Even with the best type of storage. So if you're in an environment where there's a lot of moisture, a lot of humidity, things like that, these are pretty precarious to own. Now I might be going a little bit too hard on these, but these particular compositions aren't really long for the world, if you know what I mean. And generally, most of the coins I do see with this kind of exposed zinc on there tend to degrade even in some of the driest climates. So something to keep in mind if you do have these. But if you're a collector, you just like having them. I mean, it's a beautiful piece. All right. Show a double struck coin is one of the premier errors to collect today. And I've never personally seen this one, but I'm glad that we have one to talk about here on the PCMR. Boy, it is so innocently small, easy to miss, and it looks like this coin has lived quite a bit of a life of it being missed. It's a 1971 Denver Jefferson nickel, and it has the smallest, cutest of cud die breaks. Not a rim cud, because this one ends up going into the design a little bit. As you can see, it swallowed up a few letters of the word trust in there. So yeah, this is a legit cud die break, and cuds are king. This one, a little bit on the smaller side, isn't going to command like the biggest premium. And the condition, if the condition were a little bit better, then it probably would have gotten more bids. This one sold for $12, which it's not nothing. It's a considerable amount more than just face value. And for those of you that like looking through good old bulk Lincoln cents, keep in mind these crusty, ugly looking things are they're loved in some sort of respective community where lamination errors are embraced. And it's just we have a coin here that exhibits quite a substantial amount of lamination. A lot of it is detached, and there's even a little bit on the reverse as well. Kind of looks like a crack there right above the word 1. But laminations occur when there's the planchets aren't properly prepped, and there's impurities and things like that. It all starts from the beginning. So if you don't have a good quality base product when the stuff's all rolled out, then you're going to get pretty crap quality planchets, and that's what this one is here. But technically, it is a mid-error, and then people are beginning to take notice of these. This one right here sold for $13.90. Again, it's not nothing. It's, might be something that if you're not interested in, just go ahead and sell it and guarantee yourself a few dollars in the process. All right. Oh, man, these things are cool. I've never personally found or owned them. But we have good old X-ray eyes or laser beam eyes Lincoln over here, which is simply a strike-through occurrence. Probably a field-restricted type. There are examples that show the feeder finger scrapes in the fields right in front of Lincoln's mouth and nose area. This one kind of hard to see, but based on where it's at, there have been quite a few of these found, and rest assured, it's a fantastic find. That's worth a lot more than 1 cent. And no, it's not damage. I've had a few people that have actually submitted this coin to my email and said, hey, I think this is damaged, but can you take a second look? I think we even highlighted one on our live coin Q&A live stream about a month ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, somewhere around there. But this one right here sold for $18.75 with 3 bids, proving again that there are some gems out in the rough. So make sure you're looking out for this. And someone certainly did. Someone found 5 of them, and these were being sold as what they call a progression set. So you have some of the smaller X-ray eyes Lincolns out there, and then it begins to progress into a bigger feature. And knowing how a field restricted strike through works, the metal the grease that's sitting on the die, shifts around, so you have different sizes and shapes of these as the strikes occur. So this is a progression set of 5 2022s. They're all very different. The coins are very minty, as in they were found probably in BU rolls, which is a huge score. And this 5 coin lot, get this. So the previous coin sold for what, $18? This 5 coin progression set sold for $207.75 with 12 bids. Keep in mind, as sometimes it's a good idea if you have a number of different progressions to sell it as that. You're going to find that they are going to capture a good deal of the market with that. And, error collectors, they'll want something like that. It's going to save them a lot of time and trouble to sort out each one of the different progressions. So keep that in mind. Yeah, this one right here, man, easy to miss, but it's a cut die break right over the word trust. Trust is gone, by the way. It's missing here. There's no trust with this coin, but it's on a small date out of all things, 1982. And I believe it is bronze. It looks like it. I don't see any exposed zinc or any zinc rod of that nature on there. But in any event, this is a really cool looking coin. Really good size cut die break. The reverse looks like it's a little bit brown and dirty. So it's not the best condition coin out there. But this one, how about $96.25 with 10 bids? Yeah, did I mention Cuds are king? Yeah, they're king, and they're going to be ruling the kingdom for the foreseeable future. So look out for these. Anything with a blob-looking metal formation on the rim that goes into the design, you're in good shape there. And this one here also, I don't think I've ever talked about this one either, but it's a 1987 Lincoln Mem. Also with a Cud right under the L in Liberty, as you can see here. Nice little break and subsequent fill. This one ended up selling for $31 with 12 bids. So a lot of bidders, a lot of activity on some of the cuts that we saw today. So, oh boy, we haven't talked about one of these in a while, but hey, this is a premium example of a Wounded Eagle 2000 piece sack dollar. Little Miss Sacagawea here has been overlooked for many years, and then now people are starting to take notice of these because primarily the coins have been selling like hotcakes on the market for about the last 2-3 years. So we've also come to the conclusion that these are not particularly rare. So make sure you grab your magnifier and look for these whenever you get them. This one has the pair of die gouges that go through the breast area of the eagle there on the reverse. That's why they give it the Wounded Eagle or Speared Eagle nickname. It's also a Cherry Picker's Guide variety, so it's got a lot of backing there in the community because it is recognized as such. This one right here sold for $95.13 with 29 bids. Again, it's easy money, folks. And Brian Rybar had another beautiful wartime nickel. Another great one here, 1942 S repunch mint mark. This is actually RPM number 9. There's a ton of RPMs, by the way, to look for on these silver war times, and it's always a lot better and more dramatic to find them on mid-state examples, which is what this one is. But you can see the secondary S mint mark with the aid of those black arrows from our seller is slightly south of the primary, and there's even a cool little die crack that goes from the top loop of the S up to the letters there. So where are we at on this one? A coin that customarily would be like $5 to $6 in mint state condition. This one right here is sold for $28.90. So if you could take the nice close-up pictures like Mr. Rybar did, then you could actually do well reselling these. Just a really wild off-center Roosevelt dime on a date that we don't see with this type of error. It's a 68D this time around, and pretty neat. It's off-center, I would say, by about 70%, somewhere around there. This one sold for $46 with 13 bids. So it's probably a pretty good key for someone collecting an off-center series of dates of Roosevelts. This one is probably a must-have. And going back 100 years before that Roosevelt dime, we also have this Indian head cent. And this is honestly the first time I've seen one of these. This one has a pretty big size cud under the date, actually connecting to the date, which is really cool. Oftentimes you'll find a lot of cud die breaks on the reverse of these Indian head cents. So to find one here that's displayed properly on the obverse is quite a rarity. You just don't see them. Anyways, kind of a tough date here. Where this one end up at? How about $155? So, which is pretty good. I think that's solid considering that the coin itself is probably like a VG8, maybe a VG8, maybe a fine 12. There's really probably just the letter L of Liberty that's readable on the headdress of this one. So that's probably where I'm at grade-wise. But other than that, it's problem-free for the most part. Okay, so the same seller. God bless the seller. You got to start somewhere. He or she has a feedback of 0. So this particular seller probably heard of a certain YouTuber by the name of BRSH that have talked about these till everybody's just getting sick and tired of talking about it. But come on, these things are money. They are still money right now. It's the Wilma Mankiller American Women Quarter with the dual retained cud on the obverse and reverse of the coin. This is actually a very nice specimen here. So being a new seller has its rewards, but at the same time it also has its kind of like negative spots as well. And one of those is you're not going to exactly sell the coins for the full potential because you're new. Nobody's going to trust you right out of the gate. So with that being said, this one was offered at what I would say a discount if they are going to send it and they do own the coin for $289.75 with 21 bids. I will note that these coins have dropped down in price quite a bit. We are in a brand new year with new quarters and new coins. So the people that did want these, they bought them last year and paid all the money in the world for them. And the ones that are going to be coming out here, or not coming out, but the ones that are found with the same error anomaly, they're just going to be in much worser condition. All right, so finding the gem BU examples that were prevalent last year, it's not going to be the case this time around, but still, pretty solid sale for this one. And he also had a second example as well, not as great looking in my estimation, because there is a pretty nice fingerprint on the obverse there, but on this one you could see the crazy die crack that goes from that obverse cud right above Liberty and snaking through its way in front of Washington's face. All right, which is cool. If you can just kind of like follow it down, and it exits out of the chin and then into the date, and then out of the date through the tip of the bust and then to the rim. So this thing is all sorts of like crazy later state kind of terminalness. I mean, I could only imagine seeing the dies for these pairing right here, but Anyways, $311.25 with what 25 bids on this one. Sold for more, but I think it has more character in the sense that it's a little bit later state than the previous. Two tremendous sales. Congrats to the new seller. So just send them out and then get them into the owner's hands and enjoy the money. And then we also have this one. My goodness, Maya Angelou has never looked better. This coin has circulated a little bit, so it's not the best condition coin, but keep in mind, those doubled die reverse, doubled earring coins are still out there. And this is actually DDR number 4. So this is the Dr. Wiles attributed variety. You can see the extra curl of the earring right there. So this DDR right here is one of the rarest. There's only been a handful of them that have popped up on the marketplace. They've all sold for quite a rich amount of money. Like this one here, sold for $106.40. So when they do pop up, which is very infrequently, maybe once every month or so, they will command the most that you could ask for out of any other DDR for this date. All right, getting back to what I consider to be just normal, we have a detached lamb on this 1957 Denver Lincoln wheat cent. Pretty cool. And I love the pictures too, just the right amount of lighting. A little bit dark, a little bit gritty, but I think it suits this coin. $15.15 was the sale price on this one. And who could forget the good old 2017 Lincoln Shields with the only Lincoln bearing a physical P mint mark. Boy, these things are going to be classic for a while. Well, if they're still around. They are Zinkins, of course. But look out for this one as well. This one has the infamous strong clash dies error that you see here. You can see some pretty good clashing all over the place on the front and back of Abraham. But yeah, pretty cool. Again, always a reliable selling coin. This seller actually had these in quantity and had sold 5 of them up to this point for $40.25 per piece. So just off of 5 of these, they've made $200. So again, that's the potential of reselling some of these major coin finds on the marketplace. And of course, any sort of statehood error coin is going to be highly coveted. Here's a Virginia, 2000p is the date. Off center by about 10%, and this one ended up selling for 59 bones, $59. So don't know if this is a tougher date. I've seen Virginias that are off center, but this one probably just hits differently to some of the collectors of this series. And speaking of crazy, here's a Lincoln Memorial cent. Yeah, you're probably not going to find something like this in a roll. It was probably first discovered in a mid-sewn bag from the Federal Reserve Bank, but what we have here is a coin that was struck on a piece of just scrap. That's what it is, struck on scrap. Weighs in at 1.1 grams, so it's about a third of the weight of a standard Lincoln. This one right here sold for $278.88. Yeah, did I mention that you don't have to grade these for them to sell for a lot of money, like this one? And, of course, we got to throw in some pretty sweet, like, this is probably the oldest coin that I've ever talked about on any PCMR, bar none, and here it is. It's finally come to fruition, 4 years later of doing this show. But yeah, $17.99 drape bust dollar. Man, I love these things. Very nice grade too, probably like a net VG 20, 25. Lots of hair detail. You could partially read E pluribus unum on the reverse. But good looking coin with lots of like die cracks and all sorts of weird stuff going on. But this is the overdate, 1799 over 8. That last 9 is over a previously punched 8 on the working die. So, yeah, one of my favorites. Too bad these things aren't more affordable. I'd own like a dozen of these. This one sold for $2,375. Just a few, drops in the bucket. Last couple coins. How about this one? 1988 Lincoln Memorial cent. This one's really neat, if you're not looking for these, again, I don't know what you're doing. You're doing it all wrong. You can tell it's got the wide reverse, the wide AM reverse, which is denotes the reverse of 1989. So it's a transitional type of variety. It's FS, what is this? FS 901, I think, in the Cherry Picker's Guide. But it's also got the different font style initials, especially on that letter G with the drop down kind of gusset on that bar there, which on a regular 1988 reverse of 88 coin, it's just not going to have that. And these are generally better well struck. But you do need a magnifier to gain a better idea of what you got here. $50 bill is what this one sold for. There is a pretty nice sizable carbon spot there on the obverse, right under Lincoln's bust. So that's probably kept the price down on this one. But other than that, it's I would say a mid-state red example. There you go. Another picture of that. And then we're just going to end it off on, how about an FS101 DDO 72 Lincoln? Yeah, I mean, does this coin need any introduction whatsoever? The doubling on the obverse is wild and crazy, like spring break, which is coming up here real soon. I mean, what else can we say? Coins and Cards continues to hit out some major bangers on the auction circuit, and just about every single coin that they've sold has been ungraded. Again, a real testament to how grading is not necessary. All right, sorry PCGS and NGC if you're reading that or listening to that. But there's a time and place for it. And depending on the grade of the coin, it's probably not necessary. So this one, ungraded, still sold for $610.51 with 34 bids. Beautiful specimen. I mean, there's not too many other varieties that will rival the appearance and the dramatic nature of this doubled die. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. Hopefully that gave you a little inspiration for you guys to go out there and start doing some hunting. We got some brand new 2023s. Go out there, be a rock star, put your name onto some brand new discovery. People are starting to find some neat stuff. So go out there. Wish you guys the best in all of your hunting endeavors. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know the good old spiel. And come follow me on TikTok as well at BlueRidgeSilverhound. But that's going to wrap it up. I will see you guys next time. And thank you again for all of your support. So long.